The most dangerous money men spend in nightlife isn't the large amounts. Often what happens when a man spends a lot in nightlife settings is he becomes an experience for the bar girl. For bar girls, high income often equates high optionality. So in general, they do not emotionally attach themselves to whales unless the man reveals himself to be emotionally vulnerable. That's one misconception out of the way. The most dangerous money is the money you give at the very beginning. It is often a small amount. But the willingness to spend early on creates a precedent for the future of the dynamic. It also gives the bar girl a clear, natural path of escalation. This is much less risky than requesting large lump sums early on. For the man, early spending doesn't feel risky. It often gets interpreted as generous. The man still feels he is playing the game correctly. This money is often used to provide certainty of outcome, whether that is certainty of good service or simply a good night. But for the bar girl, early spending often signals something irreversible, and that's exactly why so many men walk directly into the same outcome, even though they felt that they did everything right. Let's start somewhere honest, because whenever conversations about bar girls and money comes up, it is too easy to paint a broad brush. Typically, the first hours or days with a bar girl are psychologically unstable for men. You don't know where you stand. Your brain runs silent questions. Does she actually like me? Am I just another customer? Will she disappear tomorrow? Is this real or just performance? That uncertainty creates tension, and humans are remarkably uncomfortable with ambiguity. Most men aren't stressed because of money. They're stressed because they lack position. So what happens? They try to solve uncertainty using the fastest tool available. You spend. Dinner, shopping, helping with something small, giving money just to help. And almost immediately, something changes. She becomes warmer, more responsive, more present. And your nervous system relaxes. You experience relief. But here's the uncomfortable realization. You didn't buy affection. You bought certainty. You paid to stop wondering. But you also unconsciously trained yourself and her to expect that behavioral cause and effect in the future. The problem is most men don't interpret early spending as weakness. In fact, they often interpret it as strength. Some guys take pride in not being considered a cheap Charlie. Spending early allows the man to take control of the situation decisively. He decides where to go, what to do, who they're going to do it with. So providing feels decisive. And competent men like to solve problems. Serious men invest. Good men help. So spending early feels powerful. You think, I'm showing stability. But the bar girl is interpreting these actions from a completely different lens. She knows that Western men often are not receiving female attention back home. Many men think that bar girls are clueless about the world outside their home countries. While your typical bar girl probably has never been to Paris, the internet has given them access to the world. So she often diagnoses a man's spending early as a form of anxiety. Then she will begin to test you to prove her hypothesis. The most common form are affection spikes, followed by withdrawal. An emotionally strong man will inquire once out of curiosity, but not let her mood ruin his day. An emotionally weak man will let her emotions become the weather of the trip. The man's reaction to this test reveals several things to the bar girl. But more than anything, she is testing your emotional malleability. Once your mettle is tested, she will begin to develop a relationship plan based on your perceived value. Nightlife and holiday environments naturally amplify this timeline. Compressed emotion and constant stimulation make speed feel rational. This is why one of the first questions a bar girl will ask you is how long your holiday is. She wants to know if the time and potential reward is worth her investment. By spending early, you unconsciously determine the relationship direction. Here's where conditioning begins. You help financially. Immediately afterward, she rewards you with a positive experience. She is more affectionate. She shows appreciation. She prioritizes you. Your brain records the sequence as money equates to closeness. This is how behavior learning works through reinforcement timing. Reward follows behavior. So your nervous system concludes that this particular behavior creates connection. And once emotional relief follows spending, repetition becomes automatic, not strategic, biological. This is the part almost nobody notices. Early spending artificially creates the feeling of progress. You feel closer, more secure, less replaceable. But structurally, nothing actually stabilized. Trust wasn't built from a solid, durable foundation. Compatibility wasn't tested in any meaningful way. Uncertainty was simply removed through a simulated environment. And uncertainty is normally where truth reveals itself. Without pressure, people show consistency. When money removes pressure early, it delays ad hoc discovery of her true character or dynamic. You skip several important steps and move directly into maintenance mode. And the problem with this sequence is that maintenance mode formed before authenticity ever had time to develop. Now something subtle happens, often unconsciously. Interaction stabilizes when support appears. Stress decreases when help arrives. Warmth restores balance. No manipulation is required. This sequence is simply adaptation to repeated behavior. So financial reassurance becomes integrated into the emotional rhythm between you. And from this moment forward, stability and spending are linked together, quietly, structurally. Weeks, or even months later, energy changes. Replies slow. Affection fluctuates more wildly. Attention feels inconsistent. And the man thinks, something has changed. So he returns to the solution that worked before. He helps again, often more, this time, trying to recreate day one feelings. But reinforcement systems adapt. What once created excitement now creates baseline expectation, and maintaining baseline always requires escalation. This is where men stop experiencing stability and begin chasing it. This is also the moment every bar girl knows they have won the game and can proceed accordingly. I'm not saying that a man shouldn't spend money on a bar girl, or any woman for that matter. What I am saying is, how you do it matters far more than the amount. If your money is being used as a form of control or mood regulation, then you are spending today while quietly trading away freedom tomorrow. At this point, a lot of men will simply say, all right, fine. If the requests become too big, I'll just leave. The problem with that thinking is that most smart bar girls will never ask for a big request early on, not if they value the relationship. Instead, there will be many small asks, but eventually even a coin here and there will stack up to a sizable pile. This is where men often experience sunk cost fallacy. They feel they've invested too much to exit easily. And this always doesn't look like refusal to exit. Often it looks like delay. The man will think just this one more holiday, or one more week. Because they've already invested so much, they want to enjoy the fruits of that investment for as long as possible. And that's totally understandable. The problem is that this loop can replay itself for a very long time, especially if the bar girl is savvy. So what should you do instead? A man's posture on day one tells everything. No vulnerable talk that first week or even that first holiday. Reveal as little about your personal life as politely possible. Do not give money to improve her mood. Ever. Respond warmly to any tests, but do not simp or grow cold. Otherwise, you will teach her that she can manage you emotionally. When you give money, make sure that it is to the benefit of both parties, not just her. Remember, this person is a stranger. You do not know her, and she does not know you. You do not owe her anything beyond payment for services rendered. Everything, and I mean everything else, is generosity from you. Here's the paradox. The moment spending makes you feel calm. That is the moment caution should increase. Because externally purchased peace is fragile. Mutually built stability is far more durable. So if reassurance must be repeated financially, you're not creating safety, you're maintaining equilibrium. And the price for peace will inevitably continue to rise until you are no longer willing or able to pay. And the earlier that pattern begins, the harder it becomes to exit later. So the real question isn't whether helping is wrong. It's this: can stability exist without the money? Or did money create the stability? Because one leads to partnership, the other leads to dependence disguised as connection. If this hit close to home, the next video matters even more. In the next video, we're going to discuss why men ignore red flags and patterns. This should be a good one. Stay tuned. And if you haven't already, please subscribe if you want clarity instead of comfort. Until next time, stay sharp.